Got a new intro because the other intro would not work. So I'm going to play the intro every day. We do lots of things every day. Apparently, I play the intro every day now. Market Vitals is the stream. MarketVitals.io is the community. HFR from the floor. MarketVitals.io, the Twitter handle off of timeout. And out of the Twitter jail.
Off of Truth Timeout.
Truth Timeout at Twitter. Thank you, at Twitter. Please retweet, share, and plagiarize immediately, if not sooner. Good morning, Matt.
Good morning, Bob. Hey, Bob. I hope you had a good weekend. I had, since you like to talk about rigged bingo games.
I don't like to talk about it. I've just been involved. I know a rigged bingo game when I see one.
So yesterday I go to another one of the breweries in our fine town of Bend, Oregon, and 10 o'clock they start, they open the doors so you can order some food and get ready for the 11 o'clock bingo game. Yours truly won, I think, the third card, which was the X marks the spot. And it was I-26 that won it. So
of course, I-20. Matt, let me share, because now that I see or have heard that you have won, I have a great place to put your money. let me share. And I know you probably will. 175 should immediately go to the coaches poll. Number 6, Michigan Wolverines. Jim Howard loses a ton of the skill that got his team to its first college football playoff, but the Wolverines return a lot of intriguing offensive pieces. I can't imagine what Michigan's odds are to win the national championship in football, but they got to be fairly attractive from a U of M graduate. No?
Yeah, Ohio State's going to be good again this year, and like this note says, their defense will get tightened up, I'm sure. So, we got to get through that at the end of November before we can do anything. But I think September will be a great month because we don't play anybody.
just gleaming tailgates, nice weather,
perfect
winning
September weather, big victories every Saturday, and everybody will be pumped up after a 4-0 September. So. Then what? To trip against Indiana or something like that? I don't know.
I mean, I think the most intriguing thing here in the top 7 is that Notre Dame opening. I mean, speaking of the flip side of Michigan's schedule, Notre Dame opening up at Ohio State week 1.
Yeah, they'll get whooped.
All right, maybe that's where your 175 should go. Right on Ohio State. I
would put that on Ohio State for sure.
You wouldn't?
I would.
You would.
Notre Dame.
All right. Sports. We just want to come out, it's that time of year, dude. So excited to get some football back on. So scheduling.
Yeah. Yeah. I think we're less than 3 weeks now. So that's the good news. And, pro preseason kicks off, which I know you and I don't care about, but that kicks off in strongness this weekend. So there you go.
All right, Matt, you shared Michael Burry's Cassandra BC, his handle. Paradigm shift speculating peaks. S&P 500 bottom 13% lower than the 2002's bottom in 2009. 70% lower in 1998 versus the long-term capital low in 2002. And 10% lower than 1970 and 1975, yada, yada, yada. What does it all mean, Matt? This is... Two things here that we've been saying that it's a bear market rally. I think.
Well, no, go back to that. On the bottom of that, he talks about the COVID low, right? Yeah.
Right.
So pretty much everything has been, all these lows kind of all these, blow-offs that we had, whether it was 98, 2002, all the different blow-offs. 09, he talks about all of them. We haven't had one since 09, right? So but just using that 15%, 1862 is his target. You know what? I'm just shooting for we're sitting here trading today up to 41.90, which, I said 4,200. It's going to be about all this thing can get. And we're there. And I think when you line that up with, Tim Knight, Slip of Hope had a thing this morning. You can throw that up also. I think we'll see 3 to 3,200, which is, it's a 20% sell off from here. So everything that we've seen will be wiped away. And, again, I think it'll be even like if you listen, 6-7 weeks up of, let's call it 20-25% across the board, the indices right now. That's going to be wiped away probably in less than like 2 to 4 weeks. When that
Well,
happens.
he shared this, and you informed me that he shares and then immediately deletes the post, so he doesn't get Twitter timeout.
Yep.
That is his strategy: post and then delete.
Post and delete.
How long does he leave a post up? 5 minutes or so? Somebody said.
There's also, you can look up like a Cassandra or Michael Burry archives. There's one of those on Twitter that puts them all up there. So.
I thought this was interesting too, where we are today. 2000 Nasdaq had 16 bear market rallies, greater than 10%, averaging 22.7%. I never knew that the bear market rallies were that big.
And that's where we are right now. We're right at that 25%.
Exactly. 1929, 10 bear market rallies, greater than 10%, averaging 22.8. Mm-hmm. Again, it seems to me, and we've said it, it's a bear market rally, but are things on the ground hunky-dory, and is the bottom in? And I firmly believe that who sang it? The best is yet to come. And that was the next one that I had, but thank you for sharing it so I don't have to, because this is a much better look at it.
Yeah, so Tim Knight posted this today. This is basically all the rallies that we've seen this year. And every time 15% or rather 90% of the stocks in the world, in the US world, are above the 15% moving average or 15-day moving average, right? I use a little different moving average, but he likes the 15. So 15 is a little longer than my 10. That's great. So 90% of stocks now are above this number. Every time we've gotten here, and this is the 4th time this year, we've had a huge sell-off. So just be warned that you have
things to be aware of.
Yeah, you have been warned. And unlike Joe Biden's, winter of death for the non-vaccinated, only vaccinated people get COVID. So, only vaccinated. It might be.
I thought we said we weren't going to talk about it. God damn it.
It just came and, popped into my head.
Favorite, since my favorite was Geraldo this weekend saying, 2 vaxes, 2 boosts, and I just tested positive for the 2nd time. Geraldo, exactly. You are an investigative reporter. Should you be investigating this? He was all sad-faced over this. Second. All right, and the last one on the this one shared by Wall Street Silver, and you said you've seen these charts and you don't think they're correct. They get what? All I'm saying is this big rally kind of mirrors the 2008 rally where everything's fine, and then there's another giant leg that needs to happen. That's all. I don't know.
Totally different setups, but that's good. That's great for those Reddit boys. And then in the meantime, they're buying GME and GameStop.
Well, bring up GME. Let's look at it, because And I said to you before, you seem to be a little irritated about this participation. Well, and I said you wouldn't have a job if there weren't idiots that come in and play.
And that's true. And I laughed at that because it's absolutely true. I love the idiots. Thank you, idiots. Thank you, Reddit bros. Thank you, Benzinga bros that think that the Qs aren't going to go lower, because they are. Good job. Thanks for the high.
All right. So this is a several month chart. GameStop, what do we got here?
Well, this is, this morning we hit $48 after it's split, up another 11% today. All's good, No, nobody goes to the stores. Nobody, movies, I guess, same thing. They're cruising at the movie theaters. It's a big business again. Cars, and I'm going to throw in a couple car names here, because that's the other side. Ford is up 50% in the last 6 weeks because everything's great for the car business.
That's AMC, another blow. All right, so the long individual name specs are getting a little squeeze in the shorts and a little pump.
Yeah, this is a three bagger from the May lows, 961 up to 27. All is good. Again, movies, I guess, Top Gun was the only movie that anybody went to this summer, and everybody went to it. So once that's done, what's left, Bob? I mean,
Not everybody. I did not participate.
But let's just look at the chart. Like nothing's changed. Every bounce is lower than the last, and we're just, going to go to zero. So it's just, do you want to go to zero from 27, or do you want to go to zero from, and you should short it from 27, not buy it, but whatever you want to do.
Guaranteed, probably. As always. Money. All right, man. I want to share one thing here, and then maybe and I thought it was interesting because the Merc obviously has been tracking these, because some of these that aren't traded, they just started trading today, I believe. Hold on one second. And that is the Merc now bringing out, hold on, the guitar's in the way. Give me the guitar. 6 new E-mini sector index futures, now bringing the total to 10. They have tech, healthcare, utilities, consumer staples, financials, consumer discretionary, energy, materials, industrial, real estate, and communications. But the new ones so see if you can pull up, if you would, the financials, which is the banks one, XAF, and then just put in the number 1 and exclamation point, or just put in XAF.
Hold on, I'm going to see if it's here.
It's for sure on TradingView. I did that much in the pregame. Gosh, darn it. What the
Well, this looks like this has been trading for a while. Is that correct?
Well, this is what I think what they've done is they've been tracking the value of it as if it was trading.
I see. And this you're saying is a financial, like the bank?
This is the banks, yeah. XAF.
Okay.
Is the bank. Anyway, so now you have 10 sectors available.
I'll just point out the COVID low and the COVID high. So and where we are. So when this starts trading, get short.
It's tradable today. You can trade it now, right now. All of these are live now. And again, I mean, we're not sponsored by the CME, although we should be. Why would you own an ETF of a sector, right? When you could, if there is volume and liquidity to get in and to get out, much better from the tax man's perspective to own these things.
Yeah, really, if the CME was smart, they would do futures on, I mean, I know there are futures on single stocks, but they should really.
They tried it and they've talked about it, and I just don't think they could. Believe me, they're in the individual stock futures. They were fighting a behemoth.
Yeah, sure.
Right, the legacy behemoth.
But you know where I was going with that comment, right?
Yeah, because it does. You're right. It makes absolutely much more sense to hold these things if you can trade them as futures, because you get a way better tax benefit when you do.
Yeah. So I think they should be, but I think also they're trying not to push on that, string, because they don't want, like, a lot of people don't know that. They don't know why people trade futures.
Well, it's because it's the 60-40 fucking split on long and short-term capital gains, which is miles better.
Yes. But I also think they don't want people to know that, kind of, because they don't want it to be, taken away. I mean, this guy from Portland's DeFazio has been trying to get rid of that, loophole for 20 years since, and I think he's finally retiring. Failed Democrat again out of Portland. How does a Portland Democrat have a hard on for Chicago futures traders? Like, seriously, what the fuck is wrong with that guy?
I'm not sure. I'm going to get back to you on that. All right, let's the main benefactor of this, Matt, if it does take off, obviously, is the CME, because you make fees on every trade that people trade these sector funds. So bring up the CME group. Definitely NASDAQ. CME is the moniker. Let's talk CME.
But before we do, I want to talk a little bit first. Just give everybody an update on Nancy Pelosi and Paul Pelosi's latest stock that went crazy. AMTD Digital, now down to $600. Down to.
That's a little haircut. Matt, is it true that Gavin Newsom is Pelosi's nephew?
Yes, by marriage, I think, though.
Very interesting.
Mhm.
What do they call that? What do they call that when
Nepotism.
you? There's the word for the day. Nepotism rhymes with communism.
Ism.
Anyway, CME, Matt, bring up the CME stock.
I'll happily bring up CME for you, Bob. Trading at $200, just over $200. And where is it? In balance. We looked at this, I think, last week. It's just kind of, this is a short-term month look, but just kind of chopping around, hanging around. Longer term, sold off and in balance.
I got to tell you, from a fundamental standpoint, I like the CME story, because if interest rates continue to be active, interest rates, FX, again, much better to trade them as futures than cash FX, and now these sector ETF type sector futures, all great offerings from the CME.
Hey, speaking of Crazy Town, and we love talking about Crazy Town because there's crazies everywhere in this world. Did you see how ridiculous Coinbase was last week, all the way up here?
Well, did you see that BlackRock and them came to the biggest asset manager on the planet, 7 trillion under management, and Coinbase have come to some sort of agreement? I think that's what's pushing this.
So they're all New World Order together. Is that what you're saying?
If that's the way you want to look at it, absolutely.
Well, BlackRock and Vanguard, they say, are basically going to have 80% of the world's assets here soon. So,
well, then they can truly fulfill. You will own nothing and never be happy.
We will own everything, and you will love it. I think they need to change the wording. We will own everything, and you will love it.
Because we are. What's the word? We are not omnipotent, but. We're good. You can trust us.
Yes, we are the man behind the curtain.
Us.
We are the man behind the curtain. We are the Wizard of Oz.
Bingo. All right, man, let me share one thing here on a Monday. Couple of things. And the Twitter sphere is just lovely for this. First of all, hats off to HFR in the kitchen. The macadamia nut crusted halibut with the lemon butter cream sauce. I got 2 words for you, Matt. Forget about it. Well, that's actually one word.
Yum yum.
Ridiculous.
Yum yum.
Ridiculous.
Yum yum.
And then let's not forget, Matt, that was this the one I just shared? Trump again, unbelievable. You cannot do better than Trump in Wordle. Number 2. Number 3, there was a thread about country music and how it is lost, and pop country music is a sham of previously heartfelt, soulful country music. And what I love about Twitter is like, okay, that's your opinion. That's fine. Everybody gets to have their opinion, right? But then in that, well, hold on a second. Somebody shared, let me see if I can find it. Yeah, well, I can share my Spotify platform. They shared Coulter Wall, Matt, and Tyler Childress.
I know
Childers.
I know Tyler.
Have you heard of either of them?
Yeah, I've heard of Tyler.
Tyler Childers and Coulter Wall. Mm-hmm. And man, you want to, especially Coulter Wall, talk about old school emotion country, man. Fantastic. Anyway, I always think that there's plenty of good musical talent. You just got to look for it. And kind of on the thread of Bill Burr, if the promoter sells more albums with what you consider as shitty pop country music, so what? That's his job. His job is to ring the register. Mm-hmm. And if the register is shitty pop country music because that's what people are buying,
yeah, you want to buy it. You want to listen to it.
You don't have to listen to it. It's a free country. Find somebody that you like to listen to.
I don't want to go see washed up rap stars at the Deschutes County Fair, but there was a big crowd there Saturday night.
But they were there.
There was packed.
Beautiful. All right, what else do we got on a dog day of summer Monday?
Well, so far that trade for the Padres is working out with Soto and Bell. They're looking tough, and they played the Dodgers all weekend, and I think I didn't actually see how that weekend went. Did you see how that went?
Dude, I am full on prep for escaping the smoke, and my interaction with society has been limited.
The Dodgers won yesterday's game, so 4-0.
I did watch the Cardinals. I watched the last 5 innings of the Cardinals.
I didn't even see what happened. The Dodgers took care of the Padres. So again, Bell and Soto didn't do much for the Padres.
See, that's why everything on Market Vitals is guaranteed probably.
Yeah. Well, I said I didn't look, but they got whooped 8-1, 8-3, and 4-0 at LA. The Dodgers or the Padres just got whooped.
All right, Matt. And since we're an equal opportunity ball buster, this was the other one I wanted to share on Wordle. Again, Trump dunce. I know all the Trump haters will love that, Trump dunce, but it did get me to buggy in 3. It's hard to argue, Matt, now that I'm like 104-1 with Trump first. It's hard to argue. Like, you could say, shut up, that's stupid. That's fine. You can say that. Go ahead and say it. But I mean,
everybody's got their opening word. Yours is fine. Mine's equally fine. I don't mess with mine either. So
mine's better because it's Trump. Let me tell you something about Trump. All right, he's the best. He's the best at Wordle. He's the best.
I tell you, I'm the best. You're talking like him now.
Let me tell you about China. Good. Anyway,
China with a J. China.
Trump dunce buggy. The Trump dunce buggy. Maybe we could start selling that. EV coming to you via, man, how about we don't talk politics, right? But the weekend signing of just a giant spending package to battle inflation. I mean, it's unbelievable. Let's spend almost as big as the original TARP, right?
Well, what's unbelievable is they do this stuff on the weekend because they know nobody's covering it, and then the press is too dumb already to begin with, so it'll never get covered. It just gets
Geraldo, do you want to talk about your second COVID positive after 4 jabs, or do you want to talk about what's going on in the country?
Right, exactly. Like that's the world we're living in. I mean, give me a break. Come on. Give me
a break. All right, that's what we got. Please join us at marketvitals.io. Please share and retweet far and wide. Now you're going to have to, we need to set up, Matt, because you need to keep tweeting, but you need to start removing. We can't afford another timeout session for Market Vitals.
I'll be permanently canceled like Miss Trade was, since
exactly,
or has been since.
How many strikes? You have 2 strikes now for Market Vitals?
I don't know.
2 or 3 or 4.
Yeah, basically anything that has.
I've only got one. I have only got one for sharing the Hunter Biden.
I'm going to start making. I'm going to start.
And that wasn't a story.
Oh, right.
Yeah. Early on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like back in 2016.
Yeah. Early, like before the election.
That's when I was
immediate suspension.
Like, it's ridiculous that we're even talking about it now because it was out there 6 years ago. Who cares now? Literally, who cares? He's never gonna. The guy's rich. He's never gonna go to jail. He's just gonna keep molesting young girls and smoking crack. So good for him.
All right, that's what we got. I don't want to end it on that, so let me bring it back my feed. Let's end it on something positive. And I am positive. I am 100% positive that this will be next up in the kitchen. Shared by Eric. Yes, they can hurt us. We bleed in. And double wide capital sharing. Texas Twinkies, Matt. That's what they call them.
Okay.
And they are jalapenos stuffed with cream cheese and brisket, then wrapped in bacon. And then I am sure, like, in the smoker.
Cream cheese or something in there?
Cream cheese, brisket inside the jalapeno, and then wrapped in bacon.
How big are those jalapenos, by the way?
Well, I've been to the store now, and depending on where you're at, people are growing some giant jalapenos now. So this is
Wow.
for sure doable.
So when they're bigger, are there more seeds and more like, potential to hurt yourself?
You know what? I think the bigger ones actually aren't as hot,
Aren't
to
as
tell
hot.
you the truth.
All right.
Are not as
Yeah, I
hot.
would go with like the like what are the big like Anaheim? I like those Anaheim peppers. I would use those instead. Like
Anaheim, some people call
the
them
big yellow
Melrose
long ones,
peppers.
the Anaheim yellow peppers.
Yeah.
I just think
Yeah.
they would present better on this versus even a large jalapeno. That's just me. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. But you're
Texas
the chef.
Twinkies. And Double White says he believes they started at Hutchins Barbecue in McKinney, Texas. Anyway, that's where we're leaving it. Thank you so much, Matt. We'll see
Well,
you tomorrow.
let me just throw something up there because I was looking real quick here at the indices, which went to a new high again this morning, right? We went to another new high, but we've sold off hard. And again, made a new high, 420 or so on 420 on the what was it, 419 on the Nasdaq, and 4190 basically on the SPOOs. Again, calling for 4200. We're there, Bob. We're there. And we're last week was by the way, the smallest week we've had, and as far as range, and probably I want to say 2 years. So a weekly range that is tight like that usually presents itself in a big move next. And it's usually the opposite direction that it's been moving. Usually. Doesn't mean we can't go higher, but we're going to have a big move, I think, coming soon. I've been saying look for the middle of the month. So you might want to position yourself to the dark side towards the end of this week, if not sooner. I'm already there.
Let me share one thing. As a matter of fact, now that you said this, because I talked about the bonds on Friday. We talked about the bonds, but then I shared the weekly. They've actually, I'm going to show the daily first, and then because time frame is imperative, right? And different time frames can tell different stories.
Right.
Friday's coast to coast from the up momentum level to the down momentum level, which held. But now we got to retest. And for bond bulls, you need to retest 143.19. As I said on Friday on the weekly, it closed out of up momentum on the weekly, and you needed to recapture that level, which came in at like 142.03, which they have, right? So you got two different time frames with telling a little bit different story here. The weekly for sure, the early action this week looking healthy. It's reclaimed the momentum level. But there's that big roadblock now on the daily, 143.19, another point higher from here, and point in a little bit. And I think that's where the line in the sand is. If you are shorting or want to short this, I think that's a great little entry, 143.19 on the daily to sell the bonds. It really shouldn't even tick much above there. If it does, I got to respect this weekly chart and got room out to 147.15 on the weekly. So little nuance between time frames. It's the if then statement that you always should be playing in your head. If you're not playing the if then statement all the time, you're not trading it correctly.
And in the same sense, gold ran back a little and made another marginal high last week, Friday, and is trying to test again. I think equally damning is the move in gold that again from 1675 all the way up here to 1812. And now we're back into the real resistance up here to 1870 or so. So I'm gonna say if you want to reload on gold, this is probably a good time. This is a good time after a 10% move higher. It's a good time to start selling the gold turds nuggets again. Call Peter Schiff and see if he'll buy them from you.
You know what I saw? A great tweet from I forget who was like Peter Schiff is saying that gold is the only place to be and Bitcoin is going to zero, and his son saying that Bitcoin is the only place to be. All other assets are going to suffer. And my immediately thought was, all right, great, they're both wrong. So
well, they both work for the same
generationally, they
work for the same broker. They don't care. They're catching you coming and going.
All right, that's it. Marketvitals.io. Visit us. And
hey, we haven't touched on one more thing, but as we come into the start of this, second week of August, dog days, Your thoughts on Bitcoin? We've just been hanging around here. We're back at 24,000, up big today, another 3.5%.
Well, let me tell you what I think the most interesting chart.
Like, are they going to take it up to 30? One last gasp?
I wouldn't listen. They've put in a lot of time here. Two things: if the stock market craps out, I don't see how this asset holds up.
I agree.
So that's my overriding judgment.
Right.
That if there's another big leg down in equity assets, that digital assets are going to suffer for sure.
Right.
Matt, I think a very interesting thread though, and a lot of chatter, and as you can bring it up too, I'll bring it up, is the cross, Ether Bitcoin cross. We talk about it all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the weekly on Ether Bitcoin. And it's getting back to this. I mean, it's a channel for sure. How can you look at this and tell me this is not a channel? I mean, it's been sitting here between 0.05 and 0.08, let's call it, since April of 21.
I would call that a bracket. Yeah.
That is for sure a bracket. But there's a lot of chat. There's a lot of chatter talking about the flippening and how this is going to go, and this is market cap, not necessarily price, right? That there's going to be a bigger market cap in Ether than there is in Bitcoin. I'm not sure what that relates to the price, but for sure it's going to revisit the highs, which is a doubling from here, right? It was 0.15 in the euphoria of 2017. It was 0.15 Bitcoin Ether to a Bitcoin. Right now, we're for sure bracketed, but that's a lot of the chatter. Right now, I mean, I think you got to respect the fact that that this is an upmo on the weekly. If it can take out this 108 level, for sure, it's got room to that 0.15 level. And I think that's a bigger driving story of people positioning in digital assets in this particular cross. That's what I got. That's what I think. But I don't see how either one of them or any of them can hold up if there's another leg down in equities worldwide.
Right. So you're saying then that
I'm saying, just like you've been saying, all assets are one, and it's just an asset, and cash is king right now, as far as I'm concerned.
Well, and wait for a little more clarity, right?
Exactly. Cash, whiskey, and bullets. That's what I'm stockpiling at.
Cash, whiskey, and bullets. Will you be sober enough to use those bullets?
Here's the thing on the whiskey too. You got to start stockpiling the little bottles of it, because that's actually tradable.
Yeah.
You can't stockpile a bunch of fifths. What do you probably be able to get a meal for a little knocking on the neighbor's door. Hey, can you feed me?
Knocking on the neighbor's door.
Here's a airplane size whiskey for a bowl of rice. Let's talk the end of times when they come. What would you rather have? A piece of gold? Like, what are you doing with that?
It's just
nothing.
It's right up there with Bitcoin.
Exactly. If I need a bowl of rice,
unless we're going into Westworld, and then we might need that gold at some.
I want to be the greeter at Westworld, like Walmart.
Let me throw something out there to you, because it was not a rigged bingo game Sunday yesterday. But what they did need is they needed a good MC. And you would have been perfect for it. Like, I mean, you were cut out for the ad libs in between the because most of the time in the bingo game, it's pretty boring.
You know what I'm pretty good at is
and it's all about the charity, right? And so I was suggesting that, okay, you're trying to give money away to Ronald McDonald House, right? So they already get half the game. The way it works at legit bingo games, right, that are sanctioned by the state, is you have the little thing with the balls, and each card is state monitored, so we all have the same game slots, right? And what you need, along with the nice ladies up there with Ronald McDonald House, you need to have Sister Anne Marie, Maggie, Magdalene, in a habit, asking you for your half of the money after you win.
So they get three. What? So they get 3/4?
Well, they're asking you for up to the whole thing, right? You won the bingo match,
Right.
the bingo game like I did yesterday. And they're like, okay, would you donate that winnings of $200 to the Ronald McDonald House?
And you're like,
sister-
wait a second, I'm gonna take care of my bar tab and my food first, and then they can have the rest.
Well, this is the question, right? I mean, but I think you need to have that, and then you have to have the MC really getting the crowd going and worked up, and you got to promote it. You got to, like, this game has a little extra bonus, whatever, and you got to have good music spinning.
The problem with bingo is it's impossible to keep track in more than, like, I've seen people with like 4 and 6 cards. They're like idiot savants. I can't have a hard enough time with 1 or 2.
I did 5. I could have done 10.
See, you're an idiot savant.
I mean, they
The
say one
average-
number. Oh, they say I-26.
Matt, you can tell me whatever you want to tell you. I'm telling you, I have trouble with it, and I know a lot of other people.
No,
And
but I'm
even
just saying.
worse, wait a second. If you don't have a dauber,
Yeah,
like, if-
well, everybody has daubers. That's what
wait
I'm
a second. I've been involved in games where you have to punch the thing
No,
through,
That's
right?
always-
And now you get these meat hooks going on one of those games.
Forget it.
Like-
Yeah, I wouldn't play. Yeah,
Half my bingo card's destroyed halfway through. It could
understood.
have been a winning card, and I've destroyed it.
Right. I
Shit
understand.
happens.
I understand.
All right, fine. How many times do I usually try to end the show before the show ends?
A lot.
What's
But
the
once again,
over-under?
you could have sold, every Monday morning, basically, when Tesla's up $40, I incur everybody out there to sell the weekly options that expire Friday, because there's no way it's going up another $80. And that's like free money every week. They announced the
Monday-
split, they had the earnings. Like, what else is going to take the thing up?
Well, here's a question for you. How many times has a stock split multiple times in 1 year?
I don't know.
Sign of the times. They're
Sign
like,
of
I
the
know.
insanity.
What are they
Yeah.
bored? They're just sitting in the boardroom. What are we going to do? I don't know. Let's split the stock again. But didn't we just do that a couple months ago?
Yeah, so what? Let's do it again.
People
yeah.
got short memories. Let's split it again. All right.
Oil back to 90. Can't get under
I did notice
87.
that. I did notice that.
Can't get under 87. Remember, that was the line in the sand. 87, 87, 87. And it keeps. So end the show. We'll call it a day.
All right. We're going to talk crude tomorrow.
I have a
It's not
feeling.
gonna be-
I have a feeling after 4 up weeks in a row, we're going to have a red week this week. Maybe not big, but I have a feeling we're going to end red.
Red Rom.
Red,
Red Rom. Red Rom. Red Rom. Red Rom. Red Rom. All right. That's it. That's all we got. Thank you.
By the way, somebody was suggesting to me there is no summer song, no summer anthem this year. Summer in Northern Michigan, whatever you want to say. Like, there's no song this year, right? Except for Kate Bush running up that hill because of Stranger Things. And I'm sorry, that song was #1 for me in 1982. It can't be #1 summer song again because of Stranger Things. Sorry. Hard no.
Another
hard,
series. that
Hard
was
no. Hard no.
4.5 seasons too long.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right. That's what we got. See ya. Stranger Things.